Oh yes, the camera loves you, my boy.
Try not to come.
Hello and welcome to Questionable Questions, our new sideshow that we decided to adopt because Stevie is not here today.
Yay!
So we decided on doing a bit of a shorter format for once, so people don't have to listen for 3 hours.
If time doesn't allow us to put up episodes this week, you will see something of a new questionable question episode.
Yeah, this is gonna be some in-between content we do if we feel like it, or if we don't really have time within our schedules to record a full episode. So Alex, we're both gamers, right?
We are the absolute best at the best. We beat every Souls game.
So we like to stay inside, right? Because the world is dangerous.
What is the outside?
The outside? I don't know. I'd never heard of it.
Never heard of this server.
Our question today is what we would do if our world would go down tomorrow.
Yeah. That's a very interesting question. That I actually, I think about this a lot. Just because it's a fun question to think about, I feel, and it gives you some perspective. What are your priorities and stuff like that? Like, I feel like if you love a person, you probably would confess to her or him in that moment.
I think it's like, since it's such a typical, you could say, like a movie premise.
Yeah,
I'd guess. I think it's like it's been discussed in so many different.
That's
in so much different media and stuff.
That's true.
So yeah, I think the typical idea would be like to go confess and
true.
have a fucking party or whatever. Just go all out on the last day and experience as much as you can.
Because there are multiple, paths you can go with this question. Because if only I know that the world will end, or if only my world ends, then I think that's a whole lot different than if the whole world knows that it's going to end, right? Because I don't know if it would be, that peaceful if everybody in the world knew it's coming to an end.
So literally we have Ragnarok going on and everyone expects the world to explode tomorrow.
Yeah, because I always see like people, saying, I have this bucket list and I would just try to complete this bucket list and stuff like that. Bullshit. I just think, I personally think that people would just go around doing illegal stuff, shooting people, fucking every single thing that the world, offers. That's what I believe. Because if you think about it, that was exactly the way that people behaved when there were no rules, like in war times, in medieval times. And I think that just goes back to our primal instincts. Like, if you say fuck it to everything, then just do the most illegal stuff, to the most primal stuff that exists.
Yeah, because like all sorts of ethics and morals, they just go out the window, I guess. That's
why not
I never
play
really
GTA?
Considered it that way.
Yeah, why not play GTA in real life at that point,
Yeah. Well, the funny premise is then if it turns out next day the world hasn't exploded, then you're quite fucked.
That's why I believe that stuff like the Maya predictions in 2012 the world was going to end and stuff like that. That's actually pretty dangerous if you really because if you believe it's if you truly believe that stuff, and if you're in a group, then very dangerous stuff could happen, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But
so what do you think you would do if like, let's say the world goes down tomorrow, the sun explodes, the universe collapses, whatever. What would be on your like list of things you would like to do before the world goes down?
Well, you see, I think that's also, a different question than if just you die. Because if you think about it, if you know that everybody's going to die, then I think you still have less morals. I think you have some more morals because not everybody knows. But if just you die, then you still retain those morals because you want to be remembered in good faith, you know. That's
and
what
it's
I
also
believe.
a different case because like people still have to like when everybody is going crazy, it's easy to go like crazy yourself and have like a crazy time with everyone. Then it's kind of, I wouldn't say it's a consensus, but like everyone's doing it. So at that point, who gives a shit, I guess. But like if you're the only one that's going to die, then it's a very different thing because you're leaving behind something.
Yeah. Like, what would you do?
I don't know. I really believe I would have like a pretty average day. Maybe like call all of the people I know and like talk to them for just a few minutes just to check in on them. And I don't know, just have like a chill day with my homies.
Yeah.
I really don't think I would do something very special.
Very
It's
illegal.
really underwhelming. It's a really underwhelming answer, I know.
I don't know. I think I would I don't know if I would do something illegal. I mean maybe. Like I don't know if it's a bad thing to say, but at that point, no, I wouldn't go crazy. I wouldn't go crazy. I would go crazy though if the world went crazy. Like I would shoot some people.
Oh, definitely. Like if the world went crazy, we'd both like go out.
Yeah, I mean it's just the environment.
At that point, we just be like, "Yeah, let's fuck some shit up."
Yeah.
Like, get one step before our front door and just get run over by a car or whatever.
Yeah. I literally would die in the most funny way possible. Like, just try to die. Try not to die challenge.
That challenge. I imagine like the Zombieland saga scene where she just runs out from her house and immediately gets run over.
I would forfeit my zero death run in real life. Yeah, no, I think I would do something crazy like that. Just dying myself. I think I want to die in a cool way, and maybe jumping off a building, because
what do you think would be the most fun crime?
Oh, I thought the most fun crime. That's a good question. You know what? I probably would do drugs, like just to test it. I feel.
I mean, I don't know. I kind of get that, but on the other hand, I'm like, then you don't like if you get really high on your last day, then you just kind of don't. You kind of don't experience the last day, actually.
Yeah, but I would do that at the end, actually. Like, if I got, like, 2 hours left, I would just intoxicate myself and get high as fuck.
Yeah, okay, the last few hours makes sense.
And then jump off a building.
And then jump off a building, yeah, in the hopes of not feeling the pain.
I believe that if I do enough drugs and then jump off the building, then maybe in my dream I can fly and then die peacefully. Bro, was that too morbid?
No, maybe. I don't know.
I feel like if we're discussing this theme, then it's okay to put some dark humor in it because the theme is dark as well.
Oh, so. Definitely. This is not. We don't mean this like in any sort of serious way at all. Because like, I don't know. Do you believe there will ever be a case where the world just? I mean, there are some cases where the world would just end, but not in like one moment to the next way. Just like meteors and stuff.
I feel like the world is just going to, slowly fizzle out. That's what I believe. I think that's the most likely case.
I mean, it's really interesting. And also kind of terrifying when you think, when you look into how many different threats there are to the human existence and how likely they are actually.
We're actually not very likely to survive in the years to come, let's just say, I think, what I've heard. Again, it's just what I've heard. So, I mean, many of those theories are just, trying to make... I don't know what they're trying to, but I feel like they're just trying to scare people, because many people have so much fear about super volcanoes, but they're not as likely as people make it out to be. Actually, they're not likely at all to erupt in the next years. So
I mean, yeah, because like your lifetime is way shorter than the likeliness of any of
yeah,
these exploding. But yeah, no, it's. I don't think it's like a case where people try to necessarily scare anyone. Some of them really are just like hard facts of this is the likelihood. I think it's really unhealthy if you look at that stuff too much
mm,
because it I don't know I am a person, I really enjoy fun stuff, and I don't like to expose myself to the morbid and depressing very often. That I also really dislike true crime stuff. I don't know, are you into true crime
I
shit?
love true crime shit. I really
How
do.
expected of you.
Yeah, no, but it's different though because yeah, I mean, true crime somehow it's like through all the things that you've heard in your life, I feel like um you're desensitized to it. But if I hear when the war between Ukraine and Russia broke out, like I was kind of, I wouldn't say depressed, but I was in a really, really sad mood at
Oh
the
yeah, no,
past
same.
2 weeks. I feel like that has an effect on me. But yeah, no, I feel like the amount of things you hear in the newspaper, like people being killed and stuff like that. I mean, you're kind of desensitized to that stuff at some point.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just, I just enjoy true crime for just the psychological aspect. How do people even get to that point? Because that's what the journal doesn't, state.
Have you heard of this guy? Wait, let me check for the name. I keep forgetting his name. So he's like a German author, and he's quite famous actually. He does Ferdinand von Schirach. That's what's his name.
No?
So Ferdinand von Schirach, he actually works as an attorney or used to work as an attorney. I'm not 100% sure. Um, he writes these very um, short books. You can get through one of them like in a day if you really sit down. They're like very concise and very well written. I would really recommend you check it out. Um, they're about like crime, and I don't know if they're all like based on actual cases he had, but at least like he frames crime in a very interesting way where it's about like people don't just go crazy and kill someone for no reason. There's like
Yeah.
always some sort of like psychological problems behind it, and not necessarily like in the sense of he was just a psychopath from birth, but like it's very much about like the subtle psychological trauma that can cause you to eventually just snap at some point and maybe just like kill your husband or whatever, um, even though you seemed completely stable just like a few weeks ago. And it's very interesting. It has that very true crime feeling, but it kind of examines it in this very human way.
Mm-hmm.
And he's very popular because of this, because like usually you just see crime being depicted as very,
Yeah, yeah.
because
Now,
on one hand you have his very like on one hand you have his very gruesome descriptions of someone like absolutely murdering the shit out of their friend or spouse or whatever, and then you have like this long examination of the background, and he like gives you all of this context after giving you this gruesome scene, and then while you go through the context you kind of start to like empathize usually with the killer or whatever, and at some point you're like, oh shit, yeah, I can see how this happened, I guess.
yeah, I mean, the empathy one, that is a bit lacking when I see the true crime stuff. Like, for example, a Jim Can Swim video, like you've probably seen it as well. Like they're everywhere. They were everywhere on YouTube a year
Mm-hmm.
ago. And I feel like they tackle it in kind of the same way, except like I don't think they're made for making you feel empathy. I just feel like,
Yeah.
but you kind of, in some cases, you kind of relate, I guess. But I
Yeah,
mean,
because like I think that comes just from the fact that in many cases where you have these true crime podcasts or whatever, they usually like examine very extreme cases of very gruesome murders,
yeah.
or like people that like actually were really, you could say evil, but evil is not really a concept that really exists. But like very gruesome cases where it's really hard to like empathize with anything with, and you also shouldn't. With
Yeah,
Ferdinand
yeah.
from Shira, it's more like he examines these edge cases because like sometimes people have this very um, evil
Oh, I
view
know
of
what you mean. Yeah.
like evil view, like you've committed a crime and therefore you are not welcome in this society. You should be locked away for all eternity. You are never able to redeem yourself. And he like examines more of these, I guess.
Oh yeah, where it's not as clear as day that he's
Yeah,
just a bad guy. Yeah, I feel that.
yeah,
Oh, I get it. That's interesting.
yeah. It's really really good. I really recommend him to people who are into that kind of stuff. Even me, as someone who doesn't really enjoy true crime, I really enjoy Ferdinand von Schirach. So yeah, this kind of derailed a bit into
Yeah,
like
yeah.
crime,
I just thought about yeah.
but I
How did
guess
we come to
this
this point?
because like the idea that we do extreme crimes at the end of the
Oh
world.
yeah, yeah.
I
But
mean, I think this is just generally more of a rambly format where we can just talk
true,
about
true.
whatever.
To be honest, if I just know that the world ends and not everybody, because I mean it's already established. Like if everybody goes psycho, and I think that's the most likely idea, then you go psycho as well. So I think that's like one of our questions answered. Kind of. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I don't really think that people will go that crazy, honestly, because I
Really?
can see it to some degree, but like I think there is a certain line that I and like many other people just wouldn't cross, I guess. I mean, many people who were like on the edge before that point would probably go psycho and just like start killing people or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
But
No.
I don't think it would go to that point where like a normal person would just start killing anyone or like shooting around. Because
True,
I
but
don't
I
think
think enough people would. So the normal quote unquote people would just hide.
defend themselves.
Yeah.
It would definitely like go into like an absolute state of anarchy. With that, you are
True.
definitely correct.
Yeah, maybe it's not as crazy as many think, but I feel like it will be still pretty crazy, like rioty, like that kind of vibe. I
Yeah,
feel.
yeah,
But if only I would die, like you described your day already a bit, just to come back to the original question, I
yeah.
think I wouldn't. I if I just knew that the world would end and everybody is going to die, but I knew that, I think I wouldn't even try to convince people, because at that point, what that does it do? I think
Yeah,
it's better off just letting them die without them knowing.
yeah, it's kind of a waste of time in the first place because like no one's
Yeah.
gonna believe you, and it would take a huge amount of time to warn everyone anyway.
And even if they would believe me, it's like
There's
it's
nothing you can do anyway.
the only thing that people would do is fear. I mean, I would kind of feel sorry for those people, because I mean, imagine having like a full workload on the day that the world ends.
True, true.
But
That
at the
is true.
same
At the same time, though, I think I like the idea of dying in bliss. I guess
yeah, I like that
in
too.
ignorant bliss.
I mean, if I knew it, I wouldn't tell anyone, but I would I would try to make like the best day of my life. Like I would eat my favorite stuff, food as much as I like. I wouldn't even give a shit. I would go like three times all you can eat, sushi or something. Yeah, and I don't know. I would probably play Elden Ring.
play the best game of all time at the end of the world.
Just chill and eat food and don't do anything too crazy. The only thing crazy about my day would be my calorie intake, because I don't have to worry about that anymore.
I think this idea of fulfilling your bucket list at the end of the world has kind of to do with the fear of missing out at some point, of regretting that you haven't finished your life. And honestly, I struggle with that sometimes too, and I do have to hold myself back and be like, in the end, it's kind of just important what I want to do in that moment, right? And not force myself to regret every decision that I've made at that point.
Yeah, it kind of goes both ways. You could view it as you did now, just be secure and try not to regret stuff. But also, I feel like if you think about it, it also gives you a push, because it makes you think, damn, if I knew that this was going to be my last day on Earth, am I happy with what I have achieved till now, So it kind of goes both ways. And maybe then you start to regret it. It's kind of the viewpoint that you see it as. I mean, trying to be more positive about it surely helps.
Yeah. I do, personally, I've been struggling a lot with the idea of constantly thinking about what I should do different, so that that I conceive my day to be more productive or better or whatever. And so I guess through that I've kind of developed a more negative mindset towards that idea of always thinking about doing something that you think should be better than anything else. I don't know, does that make sense to any degree?
I feel like, I feel like it does, because I mean, just extorting yourself for your entire life just to achieve something, and then maybe you achieve it, and if you achieve it, then at the end of your life, then was it really worth it? Extorting yourself every day, every night. It's kind of, your decision to make. Are you willing to sacrifice this much time and not even time, or this much stress, I would just say, stressing yourself out every day? Is it really worth it for your goal in the end? Is that the kind of reasonable answer to your question, or did I miss the point?
No, I actually do think you've I actually do think you've got the gist of it.
Okay.
It's a weird problem I have.
Yeah. But I mean, it's a good question. You can actually use this question to get to know yourself better.
Yeah.
And
I think it's just about doing what makes you happy.
Yeah. It's an interesting question for sure. And I think we would be interesting in your answers as well in the comments below, dear listeners, if you've reached the end of this episode so far.
Thank you very much for listening this week. So we'll be back with the usual very soon. Thank you very much for indulging us in this weird side idea that we had. Maybe we'll get back to it at some point. I think
in our questionable questions.
Our questionable questions.
And if you have any question that you would like to see in the next episode, let us know.
Write a comment down below, like and subscribe.
And smash that bell!
My headset just almost fell off.
Smash that bell like Benny smashed his headset. See you next time.